All right, so let's talk about racing the 1500 and the mile and what type of strategies and tactics and stuff like that to employ. Coach Jason here, Top Line Running. Hope you're doing well. And again, keep in mind, this is good for half milers who are stepping up in the mile, or for distance runners stepping down in the mile. And I talk about a mile a lot on this channel because it not only is the premier event in all of track and field, but it also tells you a lot about your capabilities in the longer stuff and the shorter stuff, which is why I encourage folks to test themselves at a mile after a good amount of base running. Okay. Again, if you're a runner or coach, you want to learn more about this, make sure that you subscribe to this channel if you haven't done that yet. Okay. And turn on your notifications too. That way, when I go live, you can ask me any question you want. We can have a dialogue and I can learn from you just as much as you learn from me. And I thank you for it. Okay. But let's get right into this. Racing the 1500 and the mile. Here's some slides. Okay. First one, again, like I said, strategies, tactics, and important concepts to remember. Okay. And again, there are certain things here that are really, really important to remember that I know a lot of folks tend to forget, which is why I want to go over these things, okay? And this is a normal thing, okay? The next slide here, some things to be aware. Like, obviously, in the start, you want to get out hard but smart. Now, keep in mind, in an indoor race, if you're running 1,500 of the mile, it's 7.5 or 8 laps. In the outdoor race, you're looking 3 3/4 laps or 4 laps, right? And so you've got a couple of different situational differences. Obviously, you've got to tie into the early part in the indoor race. I mean, you have tighter turns and more often. Okay, outdoors you have less frequent turns, but they're a little bit wider. So the tactics you employ are a little bit different, but still you want to establish position early on, right? Preferably in the outside part of lane 1, but not out of lane 1. Why is that? Well, this is where you can put yourself in a position to stay safe, right? There's a lot of jostling that happens either in the inside or in the outside of these races. And if you're in the outside part of the lead runner or somewhere near it, then you're in a safe spot or a safer spot. Okay. Instead of getting tangled in and not being able to move when you want to move and running other people's races, you set yourself up early on to run your own race. So just wanted to point these things out. Okay. Now let's get back to it. Okay. Again, maintaining a solid pace for the first 2 laps. Okay. And especially if you're running qualifying rounds. This is the key too, because obviously you need to be in a good spot in order to qualify in championships, right? Now, most of the time, the mile races are tactical, but recently, races in high school and college have been really fast. So you've got to be ready for either scenario, right? So national records are being broken left and right here. So that's why it's important to be ready for everything. This is why, again, setting yourself up to either maintain pace in the third part of a 4-part race, which is essentially the third part of the third lap of an outdoor race, or 5th and 6th lap of an indoor race, right? This is where races can tend to fall asleep, okay? And if you're in a position, now I'm going to take the slide off. If you're in a position, in a good spot here, let's just say you're looking to run 4:30. You're out in 2:14, 2:15. Pretty much locking into your goal pace. Now, not every race is going to fall into that. A lot of folks will go out in 62 and come back in 70-something. If you're not ready for that, there's no point in doing it. The people who go out too fast will likely come back to you. If you're not ready and you go out too fast, you're going to come back to them. So why not run your race instead of everybody else's race? Okay? Let your goal, whatever that might be, if you're looking for get a time qualifier and on track, you need to get time qualifiers to get to championship season, right? For the most part. So to set yourself up to either run a tactical race or sometimes a race from the gun or a sit and kick race, whatever it might be. You got to be ready for all those scenarios. That's why I talk about a well-balanced training program. And again, take a look at my training programs. I've got 500 videos on this channel alone, 500 plus. I've got middle distance training, mile training, 800-meter training, and broken down so you can see the balance, why I have tempos in there, why I have 3K pace and 5K pace, which serves as VO2 max running, right, for milers. Stuff at speed development, 800, 400 pace. They're all important components of training for the mile, racing the mile. And again, keep in mind too, whether you're running the mile as the first race of a track meet or the second race of a track meet, you've got to be fit enough to either come back and double or fit enough to set yourself up to come back and double later. Another important component to keep in mind, which is why consistent training is absolutely critical. And make sure you have a well-balanced training program is so important. This is why I want to continue to talk to coaches and athletes about this so we can put you all in a better position to run the best race you can possibly run. Okay. And going back to this, I've done videos, and if you're not subscribed to me here, but if you follow me on TikTok, make sure you subscribe here as well. Okay, because even on TikTok, I talk about running the third part of a race harder. And what do I mean by that? Let's just say the workout of the day is 4 times a 400, just arbitrarily. That third part of a race. Sometimes you'll break that down into 2 times 200, right? Or if you're doing 4 times an 800, we'll break that third part of a race into 4 times 400, where you can intentionally run that third part of a race a little bit faster and set yourself up to be in a position to accelerate and be in a good spot to accelerate in the last part of the race. And I say this a lot. You want to be able to come through 1K or 1,200 meters at your goal pace and still have something to accelerate, okay? And still be able to up your gear again. And what's going to tell you whether you're ready for that? Your fitness, whether you're consistent in your training or not. And then it'll help you decide whether you want to kick past the front of the pack or the back of it. If you kick past the back of the pack in a race, chances are you're not going to qualify for the bigger races. If you're setting yourself up to kick past the front of the pack, chances are you are. Okay, this is where so many things. This is why I talk about tempo runs and threshold training. These are all components of good mile training. And good milers run threshold stuff. They run tempos. They run all different types of things. They run VO2 max work. They all serve as very, very valuable weapons for the mile. Okay, which is, again, it's a perfect combination of strength and speed. Okay, and again, at the bottom here, design your training accordingly to be ready for anything. That's what I'm talking about. Running that third part of a 4-part race, or whether it's a 4-part of a 5-part race. Let's just say it's 1,500. You're breaking up in increments of 300. That fourth 300, you can break it up into either 3 100s or 2 times 150, or whatever you want to do at 800 meter pace, right? Which is faster. And then you go back to your mile pace. Because if you can be running your goal pace through 1,200 meters and still be either able to maintain pace or accelerate from there, you're going to be kicking past the right people. Okay? And if you want to go from, let's just say 5 minutes, you want to go down to 440, or you're at 6 minutes, you want to go down to 540, and so on. These are the types of workouts that help you do that. If you're 440, you want to go down to 420. If you're 420, you want to go down to 4 minutes. This is the type of stuff that's going to help you get there. Okay? How you plug it into your training and when to plug it into your training is up to you to decide as a coach or an athlete. But if you want some insight on it, again, like I said, take a look at my training programs. They're fully detailed, and they'll give you an idea of why I break things down into 4-week increments to give your body or your athlete's bodies a chance to adapt. Okay? It's called periodization. Okay? And lastly, just like the 800, you want to maintain situational awareness. Why is that? Because the races are not very long. If it's 4 minutes, you don't have much time to kind of make a lot of mental adjustments and so on and so forth. You do more in the 3K or the 5K, but not in the 1,500, even less than an 800. So maintaining situational awareness is key. And again, your fitness will help you determine whether you're ready to respond to moves or make one of your own, right? It all goes back to what you're doing in training and how consistent you are, okay? And again, establishing, like I said, that third part of the race, what you want to do in the fourth part. So setting yourself up, putting yourself in a position. And if you are in a position to kick past the front of the pack, you're accomplishing what you want to accomplish there. And setting yourself up to run fast also. Whether it's a tactical race or a sit and kick or a fast race on the gun, all these types of things help prepare you for these scenarios. And like I said, being fit enough to double. If you're fit enough to double, then you're fit enough to run any type of mile race there is. Okay, and if you're doing stuff at 3K pace, let's just say it's 6 times a 600 at 3K pace with an equal recovery, or 5 times 1K at 5K pace with an equal recovery. That's VO2 max specific work for the mile, or tempo runs, right? Or threshold reps, 1 minute recovery. That's VO2 max initial work. So doing tempos and threshold and transitioning to VO2 max specific, and then incorporating some mile pace stuff, you'll be shocked at how fit it'll get you and how ready it'll get you. You don't need to do every workout at mile pace and faster, okay? This is the type of stuff that's going to make you strong, okay, and sharp enough to utilize these weapons when you need to, okay? So hope you found this helpful. I really do. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com is my email. Again, blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com is my email. I will go live so we can talk about racing the mile in the 1500. So, and make sure, that's why I say make sure you turn on your notifications. That way you will know exactly when I go live. And again, I'll say this a lot too. There are no bad questions or stupid questions. Ask me whatever you want to ask me in the live stream, or even in the comments here, or even in an email. I'm more than happy to help. I want you to learn as much as possible so you can put as many weapons in your tool shed as you can to become a better coach, to help your athletes become better athletes. Period. Have a great season, everybody. Talk to you next time.